Hey Kayla,
Hey.
guess what?
What?
It's our season finale.
Woo!
Season 1 is over, and this is episode 35. We have done what we started off to do,
crazy.
and we are done with our first season.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's been so much fun, and it's been so much fun getting to know you guys over DM and email and answering your guys' questions. I've loved it.
Yeah, thank you for reaching out, providing stories and content and stuff for us to talk about, and hopefully we've been a blessing to you this season. It is unique, this episode 35. Kayla was gracious enough to allow me to switch it up a little bit and interview my best friends for the season finale. And so you're going to meet the Sisterhood. We are doing an interview with them. And so Kayla and I wanted to hop on here before the interview started and say thank you so much for being with us. And we can't wait for season 2.
Yes, I'm excited to hear this episode.
You will be able to find us around the 1st of September. We don't have a launch date quite yet, but we want to make sure we're pumping out the best content available to you guys. And so stay tuned. If you don't follow us on Instagram, that is where all the latest dates and all that stuff will come from. So that is Friendeavor on Instagram. And then, of course, if you've got off-season questions, you can email us at friendeavorpodcast
Absolutely.
at gmail.com.
Alrighty.
All right, we will see you in season 2. Welcome to Friendeavor the Podcast, the weekly podcast where we explore the highs and lows of friendship with your hosts, Danielle and Kayla.
As we journey through life, our friendships often evolve and change, ebb and flow, and sometimes even come to an end. Danielle and I are lifelong advocates for the power of friendship, and we are here to guide all of us through the many challenges and joys that come with building and maintaining strong, meaningful connections with those around us.
Join us each week as we deep dive into the intricacies of friendship, from navigating conflicts to fostering new relationships and everything in between. With insightful interviews, personal anecdotes, and expert advice, Friendeavor is the perfect podcast for anyone looking to strengthen their bonds with the people they love.
So, whether you are on the go, taking care of chores, or just settling in, get ready to explore the world of friendship on Friendeavor, the podcast.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Friendeavor. My name is Danielle. I am your host for this evening because Kayla is not here, as you heard in our intro. I am here with my most favorite people on the planet, my best friends, and they have agreed to sit down and be a part of our season finale. Our brownie timer is about to go off in 1 minute, and you're probably going to hear that, but oh, thank you. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and introduce you to the gang if they can get themselves together.
Okay, Abby cannot.
Since you will be spending the next little while with them, I thought it'd be nice if we went around and introduced ourselves to the Friendeavor family. If you could tell us what your name is and what do you do? What do you do for a living?
My name is Lydia, and I'm in recruiting.
My name's Abby, and I work part-time building auctions online, and I just started a event rental business about 3 months ago.
Yeah, they've heard a lot about your business because I've been complaining about it a lot. Because again, just to remind everyone, I found out about this business on Instagram. Abby did not tell me. Okay, along with the introductions, you've already met her, but let's hear it.
Hi, I'm Kara, and I'm a law student.
Also,
Other things.
a law person, not a lawyer, but works at a firm. Anyways, these are my best friends, and I feel so blessed that they have joined me on the podcast. We have been friends for a little over 10 years. As you guys know, my family moved to California in 2012, and I think that we have a pretty unique story of how we became friends. Would you agree?
Yes.
I think that the correct version is quite unique, yes.
What do you mean correct version?
Me and your version.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. We're going to get into that. Actually, let's kick it off with that because that takes us back to the beginning. Abby and I are the original friends in this friend group.
Yes.
Amen?
False.
That is
Lies.
ridiculous. How is that ridiculous?
Do you have another story?
Yeah, let's hear your version.
I mean, it happened organically.
No, well...
It was organic.
Yeah, organically
and then it
us.
was mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
That was all
Well,
four
that
of
was
us.
like pre. That wasn't actually...
Yeah, but that gave
friendship.
us foundation.
Abigail,
Something to reference.
when you heard we were moving to California, you said, who are those weird people?
No, I thought who were those weird people because my mom made me talk to you while she talked to your mom about schooling.
Yeah, so...
No, you just came over
weren't
to see
friends.
the show. You didn't even want to meet us. You just wanted to see who these
What's
people
actually
were.
funny, I was thinking about the other day, is my mom made me come in, but I was talking to Carly Sargent, and now you're
love
friends with
Carly.
Carly Sargent, and
That's
you guys
true.
ditched me to go out of town.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not relevant to the conversation, but I invited Abby, and then she became an entrepreneur, so
Yeah.
she bailed on me.
Yeah. That...
Long story short, me and Danielle became friends through youth, and
Yes.
then one day, real short story, she invited me over to the box, which was the Anderson's old house.
They don't know about the box.
They don't know about the
No,
box.
okay,
A
so
very small home.
When we first moved to California,
It was
we
quaint.
were very blessed to live in a home provided for us, but it was a perfect square, and it was quite small, and so it is affectionately known as
The box.
the box.
So we were at some sort of youth thing. It was like Rocktoberfest or something, and Kara hadn't come or had left early. I didn't really know Kara. I knew Kara from Macaroni Night with Carla.
When
Shout
she
out to Carla.
Followed you on Instagram,
Not the same
but then
as Carly.
Oh yeah, Carla Adair, who still makes us all do things together.
she stopped asking me. Have you noticed that?
that?
I think I told her no too many times.
She made us, with Chrislyn, she made us all come to her house for macaroni and cheese, which we never had all hung out before. Anyway, Kara followed me on Instagram. I followed her. Then one day, Kara said, I think I'm good, and unfollowed me. And so I promptly unfollowed her and only followed her back when she had the hat profile picture, but not the black and white one, because that was a different Kara Anderson.
Yeah. She only follows people
Anyway,
with hats.
so Danielle invited me over to the box.
Was it just you? I don't.
Just me.
Okay. I didn't
Your
remember
parents
you-
were there, and Kara was there, and we were all sitting together, and that's kind of how it.
Did I talk
Pre-
to
So
you?
that's our
yeah.
prequel.
You asked me what you asked me,
No.
what degrees my parents had, and I couldn't remember. And your dad said,
That's
I said,
unfair.
I don't know.
Your mom has a degree in computer science.
She does.
She does.
I can tell you that. And your dad has an MBA.
Lydia, is your mom the IT person?
She wishes.
All right, so that, what Abby said, is true, but it's the prequel of events to our original, like our what we consider our official origin story. Lydia, would you like to tell us a little bit about our official origin story?
Well, part of it happened before we were present.
Yes.
So, we got an invite to go to, was it just the corn maze?
Dinner in the corn maze.
Dinner in the corn maze. I have no idea where we went to dinner.
Applebee's.
Was it Applebee's?
And then the sign above Applebee's says, we'll see you tomorrow. And we said, ha ha ha. And then Sunday, we went back to Applebee's. And we said, they did it back, see you tomorrow.
How do you
I
remember that?
completely forgot about that
You
sign.
those random facts in your memory.
But it's true. That did happen. I forgot. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, so we went out to dinner and then we went to the corn maze, and the corn maze was like 3 foot tall.
It was
It
for
was
children.
It was for babies.
So
It
we
was
were,
my shoulders, like I stood literally head and shoulders
Lydia had
over
trouble finding it.
the resident shorty
well,
in the group.
I was trying to use that to my advantage, and I was gonna sneak up and scare Danielle. And Abby and Kara decided that
But
they
why?
would
Hold
like
on.
to.
Why did you
join.
want to scare me?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Turns out my memory's really bad.
It is because remember that one time we were at the water fountain in the back by the horseshoe, while you were drinking water. I came up behind you, grabbed your sides and went rah, and you about knocked your teeth out
While
on the
she was
desk.
getting a drink?
Yes,
Oh
I thought
my
that would be
word.
funny. It wasn't.
Yeah, hilarious.
So, anyways,
I'm jumpy.
you are jumpy, but I didn't really know that at the time. I do now. Like I could go like this and you'd like fall out of your chair. But, anyways, keep going.
So I was gonna scare her, and Abby and Kara decided that they would join. But they were clomping, and she heard us coming, and so it was foiled.
You know how on the
So-
Wizard of Oz on the Yellow Brick Road when they're like walking but they're like dancing and it's clomping and they're really loud?
Yeah.
It was like that, but through corn, which is already rustling and really loud. Yeah.
So we survived the corn maze, and then
Because
I
we
think
had a
called-
Groupon, remember?
We had a Groupon from Karen Sanderson,
Shout out Karen Sanderson!
which is the most predictable part of this whole story.
Yeah. But she didn't know it was for kids. She just was like, oh, do something
She
with your
said,
friends.
"Oh, my girls don't have any friends. I need to put them on a date
Yeah.
with some other friends with a Groupon."
But-
And so we said, Lydia very graciously left out the first part.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
My
gotta
mom
tell
said,
the first
"Who are
part.
some girls you'd like to take?" And Danielle and I mentioned these 2 other girls.
Set of sisters.
Yeah, we got a thing for sisters. And
We could actually go
And-
through and list all the sets of sisters we've hung out with.
We
Because it's
could.
a lot.
We
it
could.
is nice because it remains an even number.
We had another Applebee's date with another
Everyone
set of
has
sisters.
an
Did we?
ally with
Oh, yeah.
them.
We had a BJ's date within our sisters.
Do we really? Oh,
Yeah. Macy and Avery.
oh, you're right.
How do you remember this stuff?
Okay, turns out you have a steel trap. Where has that been for the last 10 years? Because
It's
sometimes
full
you just be
of
forgetting nonsense.
useless knowledge.
Yeah.
There's
Anyways,
policy quotes
Peak
in
with
there.
the Brewers. We should
Oh,
come
yeah.
up with a list.
We should.
Of sisters.
yeah.
Anyhow, my mom asked us, and we said, "Oh, how about so and so?" And she said, "Okay." So we invited so and so, and then so and so canceled. And we're
Literally, like, the day before.
yeah. So then we're like, "Fine, who's our second choice?"
And it was literally like,
If it's not us, I'm even.
it was literally
right.
like, we had already paid for the Groupon. It was for 4 people, and we had our macaroni date, like, a few weeks
while
before.
ago.
Had I
Like a
followed
month
you
before.
again yet? Abby?
No.
It was only after the coordinates.
After.
You're
Because
telling
I
me
posted a
we were
picture with
tried by
you, and I think
fire.
you had to
Oh, I
refollow me.
remember that!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Before-
terrible picture,
that was
and I
bef-
still have it.
That was before stories even existed.
Yeah, you had to post.
You had to
with
actually-
just random.
like, you had to
memories.
show your
I
commitment
was
early on.
deserving of an in-feed post. No longer am I deserving.
No longer. All right, so
She did not deny.
No, she didn't. There's a reason that Carla said, "Are you guys still friends? You never post
oh my
anymore."
gosh, we'll get into that too. But
You should feature Carla on here one day.
I should.
She's like the.
Carla, if you're listening,
I don't know what she is.
would you come on the pod?
I don't know what you're thinking.
So we go to the corn maze, and I call my mom when we get out, and I was like, "Mom, the corn is 3 feet tall. We went through it in like 20 minutes because we could literally see
I
how
love
the
how you had
maze
to
works."
call your mom about like, how do I hang out with these people? What do I do?
But I was like, "What are you doing?" And they were going to a play.
Because we love hanging out with the Anderson parents.
Okay.
We do it more often than I think people would think. Sometimes we just sit in the living room
That's a
together.
fun
Honestly,
fact.
they love hanging out with you too. So
That is a fun
it
fact.
kind of works out. So we call my mom. She's going to a play, Pride and Prejudice.
With
in-
friends.
with friends,
They
like,
made dates with their friends.
They already
and we
had
tagged.
plans, and we said, sounds good. Well, I am still new to Sacramento, and I am not the oldest person in this friend group. I am the second oldest person, so I'd had my license for less time than the other person.
Abby is 35.
But in Michigan, don't you get it?
Excuse me.
only when people are trying to take up offerings for single people.
Oh, I was 26 on Tuesday night. I'm just shy, and I claimed it.
So, they had made plans with their friends, and we decided we're gonna go. So I am driving, and I'm like, okay, how do we get there? Well, I don't know. All right, let's put it in the GPS. So we put it in the GPS, and we're going, but we didn't have unlimited data at that time. So, do you want a brownie?
Yes.
Are we pausing? Because
All
I
right,
have a
let's
funny
take-
joke I want to tell
Oh, say
Kara.
your joke.
No, I can't.
Oh, okay.
All right,
This is what I was freaking out about.
Okay,
we're in the middle of a story, but we're gonna take a
A
quick
joke and brownie break.
brownie and apparently private joke break. We'll be right back. Okay, we got our brownies, and now back to our story. See,
It was a good joke, too.
My memory's bad. I don't
no,
remember where we
you
were.
can keep eating your brownie.
Oh.
You don't have to wait. The people can hear us eat our brownies. Anyways, so we go to drive to the place, but it's in downtown Sac or like Midtown or something. But your girl grew up in cornfields. I don't know about
How tall was the corn in those cornfields?
that corn was like 8 feet tall. This was like 3 feet tall. So I'm behind the wheel. I'm driving on the freeway. I'm driving on city streets, and I don't know where to go. We did not have unlimited data, and so I was like, "Oh, this native Sacramentan."
I feel like we had
I think you did too.
We did.
Maybe you're stingy.
I think you did
But
too. You're like,
I
I'd rather you
think
get lost
I
and
had an Android
die.
and I don't know.
Oh. It's a wonder we
I
ever
don't
became
know if I
friends.
had like
It
a
is.
good maps.
That's right. Or maybe that was the
She
time.
had a
no, that
flip
was
phone at
different
some
time.
point during
But
the
she
friendship
wouldn't
too.
tell me.
At Arco.
That was brief.
It was, but you know what?
It still was here.
She would
Had a
not.
flip phone.
This is how low her opinion is of me. She would not take out her phone during that window of time because she thought I would make fun of her.
Was I right? You did.
No, I didn't know until
Make
after.
fun of her for having a flip phone?
Yeah.
We knew that she had a flip phone
No.
when she had a flip phone.
No, we didn't.
Oh, I saw that firsthand, and I said, what is that?
Okay, so it was Kara you should have been worried about, not me. Anyways,
Was my phone broken?
yeah,
Yeah.
you broke it, but then I think you got an iPhone right after, didn't you?
I don't know.
Not before she was humbled.
I forgot about the flip phone until just now. Yeah, I know.
You need
know.
to go back in the archives and take a peek because, yeah. So I'm driving. They had data. They wouldn't share it. And I'm suddenly in a part of town that is uncomely, apparently.
I recognized it.
Yeah, but a little too late. So I'm driving and I'm like, this doesn't seem like, this is not H and 13th or wherever we needed to
Was
go.
it the 4th 10th that gave you a clue?
I was like, no, it was. Please, let's take an interruption from her story and go ahead and
Dude,
tell
we
them
can't
that.
keep interrupting ourselves. All I have to say is Abby paints me as the villain in this friendship for unfollowing her and whatever. I may be the villain, but Abby's the weird one. This girl, she was like 14, so I was 13
I
because
think I
I'm
was
young.
older.
She was older. Oh, okay, at least she's old. Were you 16?
No, she was like 15. You're like 15.
15.
Okay.
Because this was early
Call it
on.
even. So I was
Okay.
14, therefore I was the ugliest I've ever been.
It's a little too soon to be bringing up that depth.
Anyway, I was minding my own business, going through puberty, and Abby voluntarily, nay, rebelliously, like insistently, slept in a tent in her own backyard of her own perfectly good, warm, comfortable home.
Which is not a yard. It's like cobblestone or brick or
yeah,
something.
yeah, there's no grass. There's a big old pool that she could have rolled into.
Uh-huh.
We
and
had
there's
a
brick.
gate at the time.
Did you have the cats? Were they out there sleeping with you? Maxine?
Bianca, right next
Those
to
things were
Bianca's
scary.
grave.
Yeah, okay, so they had some outside cats that kind of scared me.
R.I.P.
Anyway,
That scared
she
us,
chose to sleep outside in this tent for like 2 months.
No, it was like 6 months.
I appreciate your
The
honesty.
only reason I moved inside is because, number one, it got a little chilly. We were entering the colder months. And my grandma bought me a new comforter, I think, to make me come inside. My grandma knew I was living in a tent. And my grandma...
Actively choosing to sleep in a tent in her own backyard.
Mind you, at this time, I had Cupcake, my dog. And she
R.I.P.
ruled my room at that time. Because it was her room, because I slept in a tent. So anyway, my grandma got me my comforter, and it made me move inside because it was getting a little cold. And then when I moved out of the tent, I discovered that I had been sleeping with a dead bird inside the tent.
Really?
Yeah, it had flown
This
in
is
and
just turned
died.
into
National
a podcast
animal.
called Abby's Confessions. Stay tuned for a future episode of Abby's
I
Confessions.
loved sleeping in a tent though, but my dad made me put
We are moving way too
he
quickly
made me put
past
this
the
little
fact.
lock thing inside in case, someone tried to kill me.
Dan.
We just moved
Exactly.
way too quickly past the fact that you just said you slept in a tent
I'd do it
with a
again.
dead bird.
She said she'd do it again!
Come on, Lola, we're going to the tent.
A dead bird?
Yeah. My dad found it because I refused to clean up my own tent. So he had to throw away the mattress that I had put in there.
You guys,
And he
we
found a
have
bird.
dark origins in this friend group.
Wow.
So we're driving.
Yeah, back
And
to whatever
we
that
come
was.
on a street that has several tents, not of Abby's bird quality.
This was a yeah. Oh really? Yeah, I'm offended now.
And there are several people, and Lydia starts hooting and hollering,
Who?
"We're in the homeless district! We're in the homeless district!" And I had it. I could not find this place, and I pull over on the side of the curb, and I throw it in park, and I said, "Fine, you drive since you know where you're going." Did not. She didn't know where she was going, but she knew where she didn't want to be.
Can I just say, when Lydia panicked and screamed that we were in the homeless district, me and my little pea brain.
I'm from Michigan. We don't know what that is.
There's a district for the homeless. Like, I thought this was like a zoned city, like a neighborhood. You know, like Midtown, downtown, homeless district. So anyway, that was Lydia introducing me to
and
Sacramento.
homeless district. Mm-hmm. Well, Lydia refused to drive.
I only drive my own car.
She only drives her own car.
And Abby doesn't let anybody drive her car.
No.
Even to Yellowstone, I offered to drive to help her, and she
Abby
said, "No."
drove me from Sacramento to Houston and back.
Not as a favor. Sounds like I was your chauffeur to Texas and back.
Well, you did. And I volunteered to help her, and she said no every time.
I didn't need your assistance.
Yep.
We made
Strong,
it.
independent
We
woman.
made it.
Uh-huh.
We all made
Anyways,
it.
can we just get through this origin story first,
Very
and
long
then
story.
we can move on? Okay. I'm gonna really quickly go through this so they don't interrupt. So, Lydia refuses to drive. I'm like, well, I still don't know where we're going. I start driving again. We go and go and go. I'm finally on the right street. I get onto G Street. And I was like, oh, thank God, this is the street that the theater's on. So I find a parking space in downtown Sacramento, and I was like, look at God. Look at God providing this parking space for us. So I parallel park like a boss. And we get out, and I'm like, oh, we found a parking space. Look up at the cross street.
Abigail to Amen Corner.
We are 8 blocks from the theater.
That's so threatening.
Abby is waving her fork at me, and I don't know why. We are 8 blocks from the theater, and the 4 of us at like...
What are you
They both
doing?
whipped out their phones.
For what?
To take a
Your
photo of
stance.
you.
Abby, you have a hand on one hip and you're waving your fork
You look
in
like
Bill's face.
a man at a saloon. Like, what are you doing?
Pray
Anyways,
continue.
we walked the 8 blocks, and we get to Pride and Prejudice, buy our tickets with our so little money that we had back then, and still do, and got a ride back with my parents
Yeah,
to
so-
the house,
so-
to the car.
So, their parents are like, these doofuses are stupid. And so, at
That
that
was my mom's
time,
idea.
they were in like this black minivan. And Brett was with them. He was probably put out because we stuffed him into the trunk
And you guys
so that
got,
we
like,
could all fit in.
Christmas, yeah.
Yeah! And
there
then
was
they had
only,
to
like,
drive
3
us
seats.
The chairs-
8 blocks back.
The chairs are like folded over.
But you know,
He was absolutely put out.
I think of this story every time I park somewhere. Daniel goes, there was a spot closer. Because I've never parked us 8 blocks away from somewhere in my life.
That'll preach.
It happened
Man.
one time, and you actively choose to park 82 miles away from wherever we're
I
going.
try to park as
I
close as
choose to
possible.
park
In
85.
fact, on Saturday, I went and picked her up at the curb at Topgolfer and Lydia.
She was a gentleman.
We
She
technically
wanted
we
to
met you halfway, but whatever. So they drop us back off at the house or at the car. We're driving back. We get to laughing about the night's events, and
Oh, I forgot about this part.
one of us nearly has an accidente in the car, who shall remain nameless.
Sure. It's not me.
It wasn't
Abby,
me
by
either.
the way.
It wasn't me either.
It wasn't Abby. It wasn't Danielle. And it
You
wasn't
can remember
Karen.
the intro, otherwise rewind to figure out who's not talking.
And so we get back to the box,
Yeah.
and she goes tearing up the path to go into the house. And
It
that
was
was
a long
the
path.
close of our fretting.
I made it.
She did make it.
Just would like to clarify
Our
that.
friend wedding. That was a very eventful evening. I do not remember the Applebee's, but I remember the going back to the
Just
next
took
day.
like
Next
half
day.
an hour to tell that story.
That's not my fault.
But the moral of the story is not
Is there a
really.
moral?
But the next day we had such a good time together because their mother had us all hang out, and we went out to dinner after church the next day.
And now we've spent.
And now it's too much.
How much
Now
do you think we spent?
Now we have all eaten, individually, not collectively, 12,000 texture
Yeah, we've spent we would be millionaires right now if we had invested that much money. But you know what?
Oh, but we wouldn't have the memories.
We wouldn't have the memes.
Or the rolls.
Or the fat rolls or the bread rolls that we do.
Amen.
Horrific.
Oh, good times. Now that you have our origins and you've met us and you've had a proper introduction to who we are, the clowns that we are, even though we try to hide that, we are letting it all hang out on the podcast.
Oh. Yikes.
Let's talk about what it means to be a good friend, what it takes to build a strong friendship. We've not always gotten it right, and I wouldn't say that there's any one expert or professional person on friendship because it just ebbs and flows and it takes work. But Abby, can we start with you? What do you think it takes to build a strong, lasting friendship?
So I am not a good communicator, as has been said in previous episodes about me from the leader of Friendeavor.
Kayla said that about you?
No, Kayla has said nothing bad about me. I am not a good communicator in anything. I got my own thing. I'm gonna do my own thing. But I would say that I would hope that my friends would know that I have their backs, even if I don't tell them. I don't tell my friends I love them every day, or every week, or every month. That's not me.
Or every 10 years.
Lydia struggles with that a little bit.
See the pain.
It's eking out of her eyes.
But what's so I think Danielle a couple weeks ago on the podcast was talking about the 5 love languages. And I redid the quiz actually before she talked about that, because my number one used to be quality time, but then when I redid it, my number one became acts of service, of how I show love, and I think that's how I feel love, correct?
Yeah. Not necessarily, but if that's like how you interpret it, then it can be.
Yeah, that's how I interpret it.
In a standard way, it is give and receive in the same way.
So my way of showing love is to hopefully do things for my friends that isn't asked of me.
You drove me to Texas.
I drove Kara to Texas.
And she didn't even have to ask you.
But things like I did a brunch 2 years ago.
We were just talking about that.
I know. That's kind of the way. Lydia was in Lebanon. I was lonely. And I wanted to do something for like people that were close to me at that time. And I kind of did that as an act of service to how I show love. And then that's just kind of the way I do it. When my friend got married last year, it's just kind of how I showed her. I didn't tell her that I loved her. That's just not what I do. But I try to show in different ways that, I care about them and stuff. But I think a friendship probably should use some communication. And I am rambling because I didn't want to go first.
Wait, okay, I want to say though, I feel like that came out, the love language thing came out in how you started Bloom, which is her business that she was talking about. Because, I don't know, maybe I'm manufacturing this, but I thought that the brunches that you hosted and the stuff that you did for your friend who got married last year, like parties and stuff, was a very natural progression toward being in hospitality as a career.
Yeah.
And it totally suits your personality and the way that you serve others and show love, which I think is very cool, that you can professionalize that and monetize it too. So it's not limited, I don't think, to like you, and maybe if you went to your client and said, I love you, that'd be a little weird anyway. So.
Well, and you're good at it. Like, not only through your love language did you discover something that you could do for your friends, but like Kara said, a talent that you can, take into more aspects of your life, which I think is amazing.
Have you ever seen how I can shove this pair of tongs up my nose?
Okay, Wooten.
That's Wooten's talent.
The Odyssey references are back. If you listen to Kara's first episode, there was 85 of them. Now there's gonna be 190. But anyways, I love that. I totally agree. I think acts of service, love languages play a huge role in it. And communication is definitely a big aspect of it. I just remember how in the early days of the group chat, we would be talking for like an hour, the three of us, and then Abby would just chime in with like a thumbs up every now and then. She was always there, and she was reading them all, but bless God, she was not going to reply.
And now that we have chat backs, it really works out for me.
Oh, good Lord.
Anyway, but you're about to hear a much better answer from either Kara or Lydia, whatever her name is.
Her sister.
My sister.
All right, Lydia, making a strong friendship, building a connection, what do you think? How do you do that?
I think it changes in the length of friendship and what you want to invest into the friendship. So spending time with the people to find out the people that you want to invest that time into, I think is incredibly important. Because when you spend time with people, you get to know people, who they really are. And then you're able to learn who you can be vulnerable with, much like Abby's communication. I am not super vulnerable with people until I know that I can trust them. And so really spending the time with people and then learning that it's not comfortable, but in order to actually have real connection, you have to be vulnerable and you have to let people in and you have to be there in the good and the bad. And just be consistent with that. And yeah.
Is there a certain marker or defining moment that you realized that you had that in us?
I don't think it was like a certain moment, but it was I've confided things in these people and they didn't use it against me. They didn't make fun of me for it. They, and it doesn't even have to be big things. It's just the little things in life. And I learned that you were people that I could trust. And so and then that evolves. Now I don't have to continually, go through that process with you guys, and we're able to invest other things into that relationship.
That's really good. I think that was so well put and more succinctly said, more effectively said than our entire episode on why trust matters.
I cut her off. I'm like someone that might cut you off at an amen before you finish your statement.
Now I'm so
sorry, Kayla.
I am so offended right now.
I was saying better than mine is I thought she or the whole episode. I thought
with communication.
Okay. I thought Danielle was saying it was better than the entire our episode so far, and I said amen. But then she said trust, and I said oh no. I retract my amen.
Oh, okay. That is classic Sisterhood right there. All right, Kara. Investing in a friendship, building it, growing it. What do you think?
I think Abby and Lydia stole a lot of the good answers, so that's kind of rude. But
again,
I
classic.
would I think I would build on what Lydia was saying, focusing on like the vulnerability side of things, because I found in a lot of like surface level friendships that I have with people at church who I like and we're friendly, but unless it's a two-way thing and like you both want to be good friends, you can't force it. Like you can't start like spilling your guts to them and then expect them to be careful with it or to reciprocate. So all that to say, I think a big part of it is like, as cliche as it sounds, like intention and like kind of knowing that you're looking, especially, as you get older and it's quality over quantity and you want a few really good friends and you don't need a bunch of big squad. I'm not trying to have big squad. Then you just have to like know who the kind of jewels are in the options that you have. And if like your service level friendships aren't really going anywhere, then you can totally be friendly with them, but not over investing in things that aren't worth the investment.
I agree.
And on the flip side of that, investing in those friendships that you see have a lot of depth and potential to them, and like prioritizing people. We're all super busy. I'm really busy. I work multiple jobs and I'm in school, but like you have to keep commitments and like make time for people and get dinner and hang out.
I mean, you agreed to do this and you're in one of the busiest seasons you've ever been in your entire life, so which I very much appreciate all of you guys doing this.
Got you, girl.
But
yeah, anyway.
I wish this was a video podcast so they could see what I just did. Always forever.
You just have to invest your time and your attention and your trust into a relationship, and I think it's easier when you live right by them. I have a really good friend who lives far away, but we have history that we're building on. So for the sisterhood to have become friends in our teen years, I think a lot of that, what enabled us to invest that time and attention and all that, was because we live like 1 second from each other, and especially early on, we would be together multiple nights a week. Not that you have to do this, but it's just over time, it's natural where you really develop this camaraderie and kind of commitment. That sounds kind of weird, but like trust and stability in the friendship.
And as far as spacing goes, like physical spacing, we have, interestingly enough, inched closer to them as the years gone on. Every 3 years we get a mile closer.
This is true.
And before pretty long, we're going to be living in the tent in the backyard with a dead bird. But I know I'm the one who set up the question, but guess who's also going to answer it? Me. To me, it's been, and Kara just mentioned it, so I'm just going to riff off what she said, but it's been that shared experience. When you hear about the term, like, invest time, you usually think of, like, I'm doing the boring stuff now to invest, for a greater return in the future. I'm putting in $1,000 a month now into an investment account that'll hopefully grow to $500,000 by the time I'm 50 or whatever. And you're like, it seems like an investment is something that you're losing right now. But for us, the shared experience when we were teenagers, to me, is absolutely irreplaceable. It cannot be replaced. Like, there's nothing in my life that matches what we did when we were teenagers. And I know a lot of people say, like, oh, the glory days or whatever. I am so grateful, genuinely, like, deeply grateful that these two people came with these two people, and all of us wanted to be together. It wasn't like a FOMO thing. It wasn't like a, oh, they're the new girls, so I'll be nice to them. It wasn't that. It was, we genuinely wanted to be together. We genuinely wanted to spend nights in a row and weekend after weekend together. And I feel like we're reaping the reward of that now, and we will continue to for the rest of our lives. So don't think of investing in a friendship as, okay, I'm going to need someone to watch my kids when I get older, so I guess I'll be friends with them now. That's not what this is.
Abby, I'm going to hit you up.
You should not trust me.
The dead bird is going to be in the freezer. But, I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but to me that was, I think it was just as much of a God thing as it was our own desires, because he knew what I needed.
Can I say something about the dynamic too? Like you touched on it earlier. I think we have a benefit in that we're two sets of sisters.
I agree.
There's a protection there and a stability that even when you're kind of in the early days, we're making this sound like a romantic relationship. It's not, I promise you.
No, it's relationships are, any type of relationships to a certain extent follows a similar pattern.
Yeah. So like what Lydia was talking about, like when you're kind of testing out the whole vulnerability thing, I think we had the advantage of 1/3 of the rest of the people in this group to each member is your blood, and it's your only sister. So you already have that kind of safeguard built in.
Yeah.
If you don't have a sister and you don't have sister friends, that's fine. I'm not saying you need to go manufacture it. But I do think that's something unique about our dynamic that really helped solidify. And like if one person was gone, it just didn't. It doesn't fall apart as easily. There's more bonds than just the friendship. There's also family and church and ministry and serving together and all kinds of other stuff. Yeah,
that's an interesting aspect, like she said. So, like, the name the Sisterhood is obviously, a joke. We don't literally go around and, like, the Sisterhood, we don't.
We do have Christmas cards.
We do. So I guess we do take ourselves a little too seriously to some extent. But our point is that the sisterhood bond of me and Kara and Abby and Lydia is so much present in this friend group, but also Lydia and I are the older friends, and so we have certain experiences that are, we call it the horizontals, the two older and the two younger, and sometimes she and I will be on the same page about something, and those two clowns will be on the same page about something, and they're wrong and we're right, and so we'll be like, oh, the horizontals are active today or something, but what we mean is, like, because it's not she and Abby who are so much older than us, but there's so many, like, it's kind of like the grooves in a clock, like they're all connected in some way. I feel like our friendship has got so. All right, so throughout the last going on 11 years, our lives have taken different paths to some extent, and I personally am so grateful that we are all back in EG right now because it tends to ebb and flow, but there's nothing like when we're all together. So anyways, I talked about this a couple weeks ago with Kayla, how there was a season that Abby was in Roatan for a year, there was a season that Kara was in college, there was a season that Lydia was in Lebanon, there was a season that Kara was in Norway, and they've all kind of scattered across the globe, and I've been the only one who stayed here. And that does make me the glue of this friendship.
Absolutely
Nope,
not.
no.
We
Kayla
all
already
the
said
glue.
we had a third or an
Danielle,
outside
listen to your
party.
elder.
She is your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
That is not
She
an
is not
outside
an
party.
outsider.
She heard that. Okay, we're gonna put a
Kayla.
poll. We're gonna put a poll on Instagram and see who's the glue. We're gonna
Lydia,
do that.
Lydia, make
No,
your case.
absolutely not. We are all the glue individually.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of ingredients to make glue.
Yeah.
Amen.
Horses.
I am the sparkly glue.
We're not different types of glue.
Ingredients.
No, she said we're all different kinds of glue.
We're all different, like,
Originally.
pieces of the glue.
Oh, I think it's
Ingredients.
different kinds.
Ingredients. You're like the horse butt. She's like.
Oh my.
What are other ingredients in glue?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Probably high fructose corn syrup. It's in everything. Anyways, my point is that we have dealt with separation, what we at one point called the splat, because when you drop
That's
an
a throwback.
egg on the ground, it splats and goes in all different directions. However, we did not splat. We were young and naive,
We splat,
thinking
but we always come back.
we always come
Put that on a
we,
shirt.
well, I was just gonna say put that on a t-shirt.
Abby's letterboard that she changes every 5 years.
So, in our instances of the splat, you kind of mentioned that when, Abby, you mentioned that when Lydia was in Lebanon, you were feeling a little bit lonely, so you had, like, a party. What about when you were in Roatan? Was there anything that you, like, had to deal with, or was there a way that you tried to keep in touch, or anything like that?
Well, I was very young. I was 19, 18.
But your
I
mind
think.
was older.
8. I was 18, I think, when I went. And again, still not very good at the communication.
Your English, or Spanish.
My Spanish, not good. So when the Sisterhood started, I think, help me with the ages, I was what?
I was 16.
So that was it October
I
of 13 or 14? I always forget what
13.
year. Okay, so I was 14, Abby was 15.
Okay, so
and
it's
Danielle was 16 and Lydia was 17?
Okay, so I was
No, I was
I
17.
think I turned 18.
I was
Oh,
17,
okay.
because there's 2 years between us.
was I 15?
Yeah,
Okay.
who knows? I don't know.
Okay, let's just call me 15.
14, 15, 17, 18.
We'd only been friends for like 4 years, and when we started being friends, we had a great time. And then me, being a dweeb or whatever you want to call me, I considered them, and this is a quote that lives to this day.
Yes.
I said, well, actually, what was the quote?
So
I said,
I tried to get away from y'all years ago. Y'all are leeches.
y'all are leeches. Yes. These, my sister's a leech. The other two are definitely leeches. So when I went to Roatan when I was 18, we'd only been friends for maybe 4 or 3 years. And I probably didn't appreciate them when I probably did appreciate them. Kara threw me a wonderful party before I went.
Fine, go.
Yeah, my cake said fine, period, go, period.
And that was not in the box. We had
No, that
we had
was-
inched
that
closer
was
to
the
you
Warren
guys.
house.
Getting
yeah.
closer and closer. And then when I went, I lived by myself. I did everything by myself. And there were times when I hated my life, because there were times when we had these horrible storms and there were these political things that I couldn't leave my house. So I was just stuck in my house by myself. And definitely Lydia came to visit me first. And then Kara came to visit me in January of the next year. And we had a great time. I almost killed her with my car. But I think that me and Kara's friendship from that trip, if you want to interject, you can. I think it took a turn.
I think so.
In whatever year of January that was.
January of 2018.
Yeah, so we were close.
Yeah.
We didn't really do things alone because we were younger, and I don't know if Kara had a car to herself.
No, I was a late bloomer in the driving department.
Yes. So then when she came for about a week...
She always had us to do it, so she didn't need to.
Still. She came...
I have free parking downtown!
If you want to go to the Golden One event, figure out an event you'd like to go to, even graduation, and Kara can get you covered.
I got you.
And I think we kind of took a turn at that point in our friendship for the better. Of just getting closer and actually the two of us being friends instead of just being with our older sisters. Yeah. So that definitely was a big shift. And then in July when I came back.
Yeah.
Definitely when I came back, I loved being with them more because I didn't have them. I didn't have true friends. I had friends, but a very different dynamic when you're home. And kind of just showed that, you know, you can't always be an island. You're literally on an island. But you can't always be an island. And if anyone's like me, which not many people are, I don't think. Sometimes you think that you can do everything on your own and you don't really need people. Not like in like a, I'm so much better than everyone, but like you feel like you can do everything yourself and you don't need to do anything with anyone. Definitely was a moment that I think kind of changed. So.
That is a classic Abby move, and I've been dragging her to spending time with me ever since.
Yeah.
I think you pointed to something that's changed over time. We, apart from you guys with your false narrative about you, Abby, and Danielle
How
being
is that false?
You know it's true.
You know it's true.
I don't remember. I don't really care. Anyway, apart from that,
That's convenient.
we have, probably for like the first half, if you want to quantify it, because we've been friends for almost 11 years now. Probably like the first half, we were a group of 4 only. And like Abby and I were friends. Lydia and I mean, we were friends, but we talk about this sometimes. Back when we were doing our first Christmas parties, we didn't even get gifts for like the quote unquote opposite friend. So like that's Lydia to me and Abby to Danielle, because it's not the parallel age friend.
Because that's kind of what we thought this was at the beginning.
We thought it was just 2 pairs.
Our age difference at that time was like drastic.
That's
it meant more than
we were. I mean, I was entering adulthood, and you were like just barely.
I was early teens. Yeah. But I think over time, our individual friendships have developed really, really significantly, and now everyone is a very close friend of mine in their own way, and there's like different dynamics to each of the relationships, which I think has been really cool. Kind of like a complexity that's come with it, and there's certain things that I seek, I guess, in each of my friendships, and just things that I kind of associate people with, and I don't know, it's a blessing to have that kind of like maturity over time. Yeah. I will say the Roatan thing in particular, Abby and I bonded the last night over an odyssey called Do or Diet that we had both heard hundreds of times, but we were delirious. And also the fact that like Abby had this little apartment and I had no clue what I was doing. I was trying to be a house guest when I was not competent, and I asked her if she had a washcloth.
She made me dinner one night.
Okay, we'll get into that. I asked her if she had a washcloth and she said no, so then I just helped myself to the hand towel.
I don't know why.
And then she didn't have another hand towel, so I soaked this hand towel, and then she, being herself, didn't say anything, because the whole being an island thing is very accurate for her, and she won't say anything if she is uncomfortable, like she won't complain, but in retrospect, I'm like, wow, what an idiot. And
well, I should have got and bought some washcloths before you came.
On an island, you think there were just washcloths floating by?
Also, Abby asked
cut some towels up.
I remember this is like a nightmare memory, and we've never talked about it, so
no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Microphone, we're gonna talk about it.
Is this in Roatan?
Yeah, quote unquote making you dinner. It was gross. I made this like little pasta that was not good, and we had grapes with it.
Yeah.
And I knew about the water situation in Roatan and how you can't drink tap water, and so I was like, Abby, should I do tap water or the filtered water? And she said something like, oh, that's fine. and I didn't know what that was referring to,
Oh, no.
if it was filter or tap. So I did the tap water.
Never tap water.
We did the tap water. And mind you, I was 18 years old, so I mean, old enough to know better, but also relatively young. I go over there, being a little, homemaker, and I was rinsing the grapes in the tap water, and I saw Abby kind of looking at me strangely, but she wouldn't say anything. And I'm here to testify
Did
that
you
now,
eat the grapes?
in 2024, she ate like 2, and then she pushed them away. Now, these days, she would have told me to rinse the stinking grapes. But back then, she didn't tell me. So that is the growth of our friendship, and that now she would actually say it.
Wow. You were gonna let her get a parasite?
Did you get a parasite though?
I did not, but
The
I
Lord
chowed
probably
down
was
on the grapes.
watching over you. He's like,
Did you
Kara
bless the
girl.
food?
Yeah.
I'm sure we blessed the food.
We did that food couldn't be much blessed.
And,
But
and then you also made a cake for the church when we would take dessert sometimes, and you took what's it called, Texas?
oh, a Texas sheet cake.
Texas
nothing
sheet cake,
but
yes.
sugar. And here
Yes.
I am making brownies that are also nothing but sugar. Anyway, that was a very long-winded answer.
No, I like
a question
it.
that I was not asked.
Because it shows the growth and the development of the friendship. When you, Lydia, were abroad, you were in a unique position to be with other girls around your age. So while you didn't have us, you did have other friendships. But what was it like to not have your leeches during that time?
I have never referred to you guys as leeches.
No, you haven't.
No, you're much sweeter.
Man, you're so sweet.
I mean, it's definitely different because we were coming together for a purpose, and we all knew it wasn't a long-term situation. So you develop, which, I mean, I'm still friends with them, but it was a different bringing together. And
like a
so,
survival, like you're all in the same boat kind of thing?
well, we were fighting together for the same cause.
Right.
So it brought us together in different ways because we had shared purpose, which, I mean, we as the Sisterhood have shared purpose, but it's not the same.
Right.
And we were, spending every day, all day together, so that's definitely different. But missing out on the Sisterhood was definitely difficult because life goes on even though you're not here.
And
That's the truth.
Through
That's
the
painful.
glass darkly of social media, you're so close yet so far.
Yeah.
So
But we tried. It probably was not the greatest because the time difference was horrendous. We tried a book club for a while.
we did.
I would get up on
I
early on
liked that.
Saturday. Well, yeah, but I was so tired.
Early on Sunday, wasn't it, when you were getting...
No, I was getting up early on Saturday.
Oh,
You guys
that's
would do
right.
it after Friday night.
Yeah.
And so different ways, but definitely seeing Instagram, or we have a shared folder with pictures and seeing everything that's happening and knowing you're missing out. But then coming home and you just pick up where you left
Right.
off.
That, for me, and obviously I'm not the one who's been leaving, who has left, but when you guys would come home, not so much Kara, because when she was away for college, it was like she'd come home every couple weeks. But when you came home from Roatan or you came home from Lebanon, that first day when you guys were back was like, but then those 2 weeks would go by and it was like, it was worse almost than when you left the first time, because it's like, I remember 3 weeks ago what it was like when you weren't here, and now we're going right back to that. And so it was really hard. I mean, it had nothing to do with me, like it wasn't about me, but it was difficult to transition back into that faraway relationship because I needed you guys just as much as we all need each other. And so being in the position where I was the one who was here, again, usually it was 3 of us who were here around the same time. It was just so difficult to transition back into that faraway relationship. But then you always had the joys of when they were going to come home. So that's something. We did do the book club, which honestly, you guys, I would be willing to bring that back.
Abby doesn't read.
Pick a different book.
I can't read.
Audiobooks are the life.
I did listen to that book on Audible, and let's pick a different book.
We were trying
The
to
subject matter. That
we
was
were
the
trying to
problem.
like learn and be studious, and it was
It was hard to FaceTime.
it didn't work.
It did not.
No, it did not work. But it was just hard to FaceTime without purpose.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
because
true.
We needed something to make us get on FaceTime every single week.
Because even when, like, you're catching up, if we asked her about her life, like, we still don't know the people she's talking about or her experiences. Like, it was just different.
Well, and the 3 together, it doesn't matter which 3 are just clowns. And the other one's just sitting there watching them be clowns.
True. And you know what? When you guys were in Rotan, or was it they were in
There
Rotan?
was a time you guys had a guitar and you were serenading.
I was writing my thesis when I was in my senior year of college.
Is that what
with the hat?
Sombrero?
Yeah.
I was wearing the sombrero, Danielle was playing the guitar, and I was cat typing GIF on my thesis at like 3 a.m.
We have never had a drop of alcohol in our lives.
Never.
But that was like that's what I feel
tell.
like it was probably like to be drunk, I would imagine, is that night. Is that the night we watched the VeggieTales?
We were VeggieTales. I think so. Yes.
Yeah. We've had a lot of probably below our age fun times, but she's right. When you're the one who's on the FaceTime and the other 3 are just living life, it's really hard. But there was one time that 2 were in Rotan and 2 were here, and it wasn't the 3 and 1 clowns, but it was 1 in the States and 1 in Rotan. And I think you were here. It was me and you, me and Kara, and then Abby and Lydia were in Rotan, and Abby and Kara were just like back and forth, and Lydia and I are just sitting there
That's
like,
how it
we would
always
like to talk to, please.
This is our show.
Yeah, because you were showing us the video of my Spanish not good.
Yeah,
or
and there's
something
also
like
the video of
with
the fish falling from
yeah.
the sky.
Isn't that
Oh,
video?
is it the same one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where it
Fish
rains the fish.
fall from the sky on the mainland. And you may think I'm crazy, but I'm not.
Google it.
Should we put
You
it in the
are,
show
but
notes?
just not about
Should.
that.
We'll try to find the video and put it in the show notes so you can see the fish raining. Alright, so in the next segment of our little Sisterhood interview hangout sesh, do you guys remember the timeline?
Mm-hmm. That was
Abby?
Lydia's
Yeah.
own creation.
It was. I need to give a huge shout out to her right now.
Woo!
Lydia in, I don't know what year it was.
2019. It was right before I went to Lebanon for the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was in anticipation of a splat.
Oh, actually,
It was
or
the-
was it when Abby was
I
going
think
to
it was because the first iteration is 13 to 18. And then we have a
Okay.
19.
Yeah, it would've been-
Okay.
Okay, side note about that though, regardless of which splat it was in anticipation of a splat, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of glossed over that earlier. We have had panics in our history.
We
Teresa
went to
Yes.
we went to Ruth's Chris
That's
and
the
tried to
final
spend
send-off.
4
Yeah.
gift cards at that restaurant. and they did not
They
appreciate
dropped
that.
my
Embarrassing.
lobster on the
They
ground.
dropped her lobster on the ground. The waitress tried to be our friend, which is a side note of a side note.
Yeah.
Every waitress in Sacramento has tried to befriend us at one point.
Yeah.
So there's that.
They
but
kind of stopped.
they have. Are we not friendable
I
anymore?
think we're too loud.
Case in point. Anyways, yes, preparation for the splat. We've all kind of thought it was going to come at one point because we're like, this is it. Like, we're all going to transition.
Yeah, there's like a red scare like every 3 years.
I am dead.
Especially if you're going to Lebanon.
Uh,
we get really freaked out and we're like,
Really
this is
freaked
the
out.
end. We can't recover from this. And
But
then as soon as she comes home, we're like, oh, wait, this is just like it always was.
but the first one was particularly egregious.
But
'cause-
that takes work.
Yeah.
I will say.
True
that
that.
doesn't come just...
True that.
yeah. So the first one, Abby was the first one to leave. And my thought process was, okay, Abby's going to leave, and then Kara's going to go to college, and we'll never be back together for the foreseeable future. That was my thought. I don't know if you guys thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Probably. Okay. So Lydia thought the same thing, and she incredibly put together, and if you have the copy of the 52 Friend Dates, this is actually a recommendation in the book, put together a timeline of our friendship spanning text messages and photos and just events from what we were together or whatever, and pieced together from 2013 to 2018. How long did you work on that?
It was weeks. I
And-
think Abby must have been in Rotan because I feel like I had nothing else to do.
And she
guess
kept
that's
it a
why I
secret
did it.
and then presented it to us, and if I didn't tear up, I
I
wanted
never
to.
had access to the doc.
Yes, you did! You've commented on it before.
Why do you say
Google
that?
doesn't work.
Am
in
I
Rotan.
on there?
Yeah, you're on here.
Oh.
Abigail, your communication, not good.
Anyways, Lydia just put this masterpiece together, and going through it is like literally opening up a time capsule of our friendship. It has petered out a little bit in the last couple of years, but I trust that.
I've made some documentaries.
Yes, you have.
Oh,
you have.
You're making videos.
But actual documents. Anyways,
No,
that being
you can
said,
do the
End of the
videos.
year videos.
Yeah.
Oh,
end of the
she
year
has
video.
made actual videos. I was.
Yeah.
Those were extremely
I thought she
wholesome.
misspoke, but she has actually made documentaries.
Yeah. Well, it's easier than typing
Typing
out
out.
every day.
Yeah.
she's the Sisterhood historian
Secretary, yeah.
/ secretary.
She also
I'm
keeps
retired.
notes. You have the quotes note.
I do.
Which we crack
That's
ourselves
unhinged,
up
though.
much. Oh no, yeah, that is confidential. But we crack ourselves up far more than anyone else cracks us up.
You know
Far
that
more.
that most recent quote that we can't put on air, but that from Sunday.
Yes.
I told my parents that the other day, and they
Verbatim.
died laughing.
And Kim Horton.
They
after-
thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Anyway, we
Someone
keep
will
track of
have
our
to
own
fill
jokes
me
because
in
we think
later.
we're hilarious.
If I look at me,
What?
The way that we're miming this whole thing.
hold on, I gotta pause so I can tell Abby the quote. Hold on. Okay.
Oh,
She remembers now. Okay, this is an extremely long way to say, what do you guys think about if we pull up the old document, you give me a date, and we'll read what we were doing at that time. And if we don't have that exact date, I'll pick the closest one to it. You good?
Sounds good.
Okay.
we.
Lydia, let's start with you. Give me a date.
Oh goodness.
I have the 13 to 18 in front of me, but I can open up the other one.
Let's go to July 15th, 2016.
Okay, we do not have the 15th, but we
That
have...
was in Abby's and my Donald and Hillary era.
It was, but we
in
do have the...
anticipation of the
We
election.
do have a span of the 6th
I won.
through the 13th.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we need to proof this?
All right, so this is a span of July 6th through the 13th of 2016. The editing of Bishop's book, Apostolic Pentecostal
Oh my
Theology,
goodness.
comes out of nowhere. We did not know about
This was leading up to the Ruth
That
Chris
was
event.
16.
What?
Yeah.
That's
we
when
had
got
those
our
gift cards for a year.
We're frugal kind of.
We didn't know when we were going to go there. Kara is randomly summoned on a Wednesday night in the middle of a Trader Joe's.
True that.
And it kickstarted a chaotic week where the Sisterhood was tossed into a 100+
Guess who this is
hour
going
long...
back to?
Carla!
Call her right now and tell.
Carla's the glue?
Oh!
I'm not willing to accept that, but I appreciate the plan.
She's like, maybe the 5th one. Okay, so 100+ hour long editing process and all of its escapades, while myself, Kara, and Lydia are editing at the Wilson's home. Abby is babysitting whose daughter?
Carla's.
Carla's daughter.
Oh
Are
my
you-
goodness.
Because all roads lead
Lead
back
to
to
Carla.
That was 8 years ago.
You do not want me editing your book. You also don't want me watching your children. But if you have to pick one or the other, watching your children is definitely a better option. Even though Carla was gone many an hour, Elaine and me, we
If
pulled
ours
it
was
through.
over 100 hours, hers was like 160 hours.
We
The
pulled it through,
fact
but she was
that-
tired of seeing me.
Yeah.
You've been there too.
The fact that we were editing that book all hours of the night. And I did not have my license because I was a late bloomer in the driving department, as has been established. Carla drove me home at like 6 a.m. after editing all night long.
Because I left at like 4 or something like
and
that.
I was like 16 years old. Yeah, I was 16. I didn't have my birthday yet. Also, side note, the table we're sitting at right now is immediately next to a cabinet that my mom got from Carla.
That I used to clean when I would clean Carla's house.
Because all roads lead back.
Whoa!
Yes,
Because all
That
roads
is
lead
the
back
oh
to
Carla.
Carla.
Carla is the
We used
origin
to-
story.
And the house that we had macaroni and cheese in the first night was my
That's
first
our
home.
child. Yeah.
That's hysterical. Wow. All right.
I'm mind blown.
Also, the fact that 8 years ago people knew we were an entity.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She called us all together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
to
still
this day,
does.
To
Needs
this
to be
day,
an
No
LLC.
Limits We get assigned our ministries together.
I agree.
What'd you say?
We can start our own LLC.
Oh, yeah.
All right, shall we pick another date? All right, Kara, pick a date for us.
Let's do March 19th, 2017.
March 19th, 2017, Lydia's birthday. The Sisterhood goes to Chicago Fire, a place that we have frequented often, but now are not okay.
It's still delicious.
Anyways, the
Sisterhood and I go there sometimes.
The Sisterhood goes to Chicago Fire after service. It must have been like a Sunday or Tuesday or something to celebrate Lydia's birthday. However,
wait, is this when we were gonna plan something? Oh no, never mind.
However, on the 18th,
What?
what are you talking about?
What are you
We
trying
were
to plan?
Chicago Fire, and we were gonna plan some kind of vacation.
Oh boy.
Oh,
We've
we-
planned
we
so many
said-
vacations and we've
But
gone
it
on
was
like
at
2.
Chicago Fire. Anyway, continue.
If Abby Steel Trap doesn't have it, then I ain't got a trap. Alright, on the 18th, we also celebrated your birthday. We went to do an escape room, and the quotation is, they fail miserably.
We did.
It was miserable.
It was awful.
It was not a true escape room.
It was not.
No.
We were supposed to be on a heist, and we weren't actually escaping, and we're not good
$0.
robbers.
We're
We're upstanding
that's a
citizens.
I think there was a
compliment.
little kid with us too.
Yeah, the
It was
mom
like
and
another
son.
family, yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Alright, Abby, you want to pick a date?
Okay. Let's try April 27th, 2019.
Alright, let's take a look at that date. April 27th, 2019. Abby's shoes turn her feet an exquisite shade of pink.
Oh, I still have those.
Yeah, you do.
You do?
I do.
She
They're my
does.
like fake leather ones that are like the multicolor that I just wore on
purple.
Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah, you wear those all the time.
They don't turn my shoes or my feet pink.
You've had this
Are
for
your
5
feet just
years
permanently
at
pink
least.
now?
Probably.
My feet are permanently pink.
The Sisterhood realizes
Adults.
that an elder in the church exercises more than all of us combined. This is
Still accurate.
on. Okay.
Oh my word, she definitely still exercises more than
Abby
I do.
and Lydia go to. It just says Danielle's house. Were you at college?
Yeah, I was.
Oh.
I was about to be so offended.
And here's the best part. They are up to some shady business. What we were doing, I have no idea, but the final thing says, Abby witnesses at Rev Dino's glass of milk before bed.
Oh yeah, he does believe in the glass.
Let me
of
tell
milk
you,
does
before
drink
the
it all
man
the time.
drank 3 glasses of chocolate milk this morning because he hasn't had any in the last 52
bed.
days.
He's like a kid.
He
now.
drank 3. So
Abby
yeah.
could never.
Oh.
Were you there when we played?
No, Abby could never.
Heads Up. Because there was a time we were playing Heads Up in your room, and it was like insane.
I don't know.
When?
At the Wharton house.
Did we make our own deck?
No,
I
we
think
were
Kara
just
was there.
unhinged.
I think Kara was there.
Was it the same night that we were doing? What was it called?
Was that the night the power went out?
Oh,
the
the
tell
power
that
up.
story.
Yeah.
Tell the story.
But there was also the era of that app. I can't remember what it was called. Where you just
Oh,
sync.
it was
Oh, Dub Smash.
was it that?
We were some dub
Because we
smash
did the-
queens
Oh, the
and-
Minions.
The
and
Minions.
Yeah,
stuff.
the Minions.
Yeah.
But you were there for
Yeah,
that.
it was like the same night.
It
as
might have been.
And Abby, side note, had a side
Shut
hustle.
up.
She had a
recording.
She
Finsta.
had-
Shut up!
Oh, it was out of Finsta.
Shut
This was a.
up.
Abby had a whole.
Is it still out there?
Influencer
I don't
account
know.
I was
dedicated
looking for it. the
I
other day.
tried
Dub
to.
Smash.
I think Instagram probably has gone through and deleted their
I
spam
believe in
accounts.
miracles.
And I did try to hack into it the other day, but
Make a
I forgot my
video.
old password.
All right, my turn to pick a date. I'm gonna pick April 30th, 2019, and I did not just randomly pick this one. I did scroll down a little bit and see it, to be fair, but it is hysterical because it says Kara declares
I
That
do
the-
be declaring.
that the Sisterhood should go to Alaska
Facts.
in summer of 2020.
Oh.
Oh.
That did
Hey, we
age
went
well.
to Yellowstone.
Yes,
But we have
did.
never been to Alaska, and it's been 4
No,
years.
I have not.
Oh, we gotta go, you guys.
We did go to
I still want
Yellowstone.
to go. Let's go. Come on. Let's all quit our jobs.
Okay, when
Woo!
I'm getting to debt.
I'm actually free in the summer of 2024.
I'll
so.
have you know, I've been trying to put together this trip in August.
Talk about not communicating. You know, Abby did not even reply to my text to be on this podcast.
there was
Because-
a comma.
I said, hey, Hey, are you free?
Comma.
No. I said,
Comma.
No. I said, are you free Thursday, comma, May 23rd? And she ghosted me. So I went and punched her in the face, and then look, now she's here.
There was a comma, there was a date, and there was a question mark.
That was
And there was
far
a
too
ghosting.
professional.
3 for 3.
Ghosting.
I didn't answer him.
All right. We are going to close out this episode with probably, if not the biggest debate in Sisterhood history,
Oh my goodness.
the second biggest.
I have no dog in this fight.
I would say
Put those
probably
dogs
the
away.
biggest. And let me tell you, I've got one phrase for you. The door was closed.
Oh, ask Chloe. We should have had Chloe on the pod.
I should have Chloe on the
I
pod.
bet she's awake.
Let's call her.
Chloe.
What? She was in the other room. She doesn't know. Okay,
Should call
so
her.
to recap, we're at the Wharton house. It's Kara's, 16th?
Yeah.
Okay. Kara's 16th birthday. Her best friend Chloe had flown out to be with it. After her party, we all go back to the house. And it'd been a long day. Why are you looking at me like that? And I wanted to change.
This is how I look at liars.
Everything I've said is true, and everything I am about to say is true. I go to my bedroom.
But there's
Sometimes liars
backstory.
believe their own lies.
There's
Yes,
more
because
than that.
you guys, for like multiple weeks, had been yelling at us every time we knocked on the front door.
Yep.
The front door.
Yes.
The front.
But that
The
would,
front
if you guys had just let us continue knocking like
The
we like to do,
front
the whole
door.
situation
That is
would
not what
have
this
been
fight is
avoided.
about. The fight
Yes,
is
but
not
it
about
started
the front
at the
door.
front door.
No, it didn't.
Yes, because if we had knocked at the front door like we like to knock on doors,
No, that would no.
you would have
That
known
changes
We
we were
knock
there.
on closed doors.
No, no, you don't.
Knock
We-
and it shall be
Let me
opened
hold
unto
on. Let
you.
me finish the
Seek and
truth.
ye shall find.
Let me finish the truth, and then you can lie.
if the music
Okay.
could come.
Amen.
Okay. So I run upstairs to my bedroom, which is very far away from the rest of the house. I close the door. Apparently, it was not. Hold it in for a second. Apparently, it wasn't fully latched, but it was closed. Like there was no gap that you could like peek in. Okay.
That is closed.
It is closed.
Yes,
Exactly.
the door is closed.
The door was closed. Correct.
I thought you started this by saying the door was open.
You just said the door was open.
No, the door was closed. That's.
Oh, she says the door's open.
She says the door is open.
You don't.
I thought
Thank you for
are
agreeing
you
with me. We
talking
have an
about?
answer.
No, I didn't see the
You
door.
just said the door was closed 1 second ago.
No.
You were saying the door was closed, and
It
I was
is closed.
clarifying
It
because
was
I thought
closed.
you said it was open.
No.
Strike that for the record.
yeah, that's so good.
Okay, so I'm not done.
Sometimes
Calm down.
when
Calm
people-
down.
Sometimes when people lie, they just talk and talk and talk.
You. If I didn't keep getting interrupted, we wouldn't be having this problem. So I am changing my clothes with the door shut. Kara and I have a shared bathroom. That door is also closed. Abby decides, hey, I'm going to go visit Danielle in her room while I am changing. She did not know, to be fair, that I was changing.
And you and Kara were talking.
Because the bathroom door was open.
Because you are allowed to talk to people while you're changing clothes when they're in
And the
another
bathroom
room.
door was open.
Anyways,
Abby's crazy eyes are coming out.
they are really crazy. So I am changing, and suddenly the door bursts open from its closed position,
Like a mighty rushing
and Abby goes, "Rah!" And then she goes, "Ah!" And her like rah turns into a scream of terror, and then she runs away. Because she opened a closed door while I was changing, so this is her fault. The door was closed. All right, you liar, go ahead. Get your eyes back down to where they need to be.
We entered the Anderson home. What do you guys whisper about? We walked.
I don't know. I can't understand her lips.
We walked. Just share it with the group,
I
why
know.
don't you?
Oh.
Share with the podcast.
We walked upstairs. I look straight ahead is Danielle's door,
Which
which
was
is
closed.
ajar.
Not a jar.
It's a door, not a jar.
Thank you.
There is light coming out,
Stupid.
From the bottom.
and Chloe is sitting on Kara's bed,
Chloe
The
is
door
my
is
good friend.
wide
We
open.
already
Shout
said
out
that.
to Chloe. I don't know. I think we identified her.
Yeah, we
You
did.
said best friend from.
You were on your phone.
Then Kara and Danielle had, I think they call it a Jack and Jill door, correct?
Yes.
That led in
Bathroom.
Jack and what?
Jack and Jill bathroom.
Jack and Joe.
Jill!
Okay, I
just went on a water ride.
Why? If you had not said that, I just took a drink of my water, and Abby said Jack
you
and Joe
see
bathroom,
this?
and I accidentally spit my water out on her.
Accident.
It was accidentally. I did not aim. This is a new debate. And she just said that while I was taking a drink and putting my water back, and I happened to be facing that direction, so that is
Happens.
not my fault. I am sorry. But why
Oh, are
did
you
you have to
recording?
say? I am now.
Oh, no wonder
They had
Kara
to
was
explain
whispering.
what just happened.
I need a towel first.
Yeah. It's like French white.
Okay, Jack and Joe, go ahead. I was taking a drink when you said that.
Sometimes I misspeak, and they correct me, and I thought Lydia was correcting me.
I still need a drink too.
And I thought that Lydia was correcting me, and I thought she said Jack and Joe, and then Danielle deliberately
I was not
turned her
deliberately.
head
I will say that.
and
I
spat
was like
on
this,
me.
putting it back here.
Spat
Did
on
you
the
see me?
table.
I'm putting my water back.
Do you
see my
realize?
body?
Do you realize? Wait. Do you realize what has just happened?
We're in the middle of a debate, and
We have another story now,
and you guys witnessed it pretty much.
and I have been the victim of both.
Okay,
Oh, I heard
Let's
that.
finish-
So true, Abby. This
let's
is history
finish
making.
the first debate first.
So,
It's truly a live show.
anyway, Chloe, who I wish was here right
I
now.
know. I text her and asked if she's awake, and she's ghosting.
Kara
me.
was in the actual bathroom talking to Danielle. She was like undoing her hair or whatever. Danielle was talking back to Kara, I believe peeking through the door at Kara, right?
I certainly was
No!
not.
The door
The
was
door was closed.
okay. Oh, the bathroom door I'm talking about. You were talking to
That
Kara.
was also you think I'm gonna be
I don't know.
changing?
I don't know.
So anyway, I approached and I
You know
said,
at what state of my changing I was in. Why would I be doing that in front of her?
I didn't know you were changing. So I look at Chloe and I say, shh, because the door is open, and I
closed.
creep, and go push. There was no twist of the handle.
Facts.
There was just a simple push of the door,
The door was
and I
closed.
said,
it was scratched.
and then I said,
How would she know she could just push
Uh-huh.
it if the door was, if she thought the door was closed?
I said,
and now
It
I
was
have been
closed.
She would've
spit
gone
on
and turned it.
deliberately.
Yeah.
but it was not latched because the door, like this door in my room right now, it will close, but it won't latch.
Yeah, but then
because
she
the-
would have turned the handle if she had thought it was closed.
No.
Abby, I just need you to know that you just sounded like Bishop in the "Get you." The Holy Ghost will either help you or
I did in
haunt
fact
you.
want to wrestle her after that because she doesn't close the door when she's changing.
Get you.
Once you were decent and in your right mind.
Wrestle.
You have never been in your right mind this entire friendship, so why should I suddenly be in
okay.
mine?
At least I don't spit on people.
You have before. Okay, so to clarify what just now happened in the podcast that you witnessed, Abby said something while I was taking a drink and putting my water back at the same time. She is placed so that while I was turning, I was facing her. So she just got
She
showered.
turned to spit on me, and when I mean, she didn't like have some water in her mouth. She had drank Niagara Falls
Yeah.
and spit on me.
Yeah, it was Chris Pine.
My arm
style.
is wet.
So is my shirt.
Facts, Garrett.
Yeah.
My shirt and my skirt is. That was a lot of water. And I'm sorry, but it was not intentional.
Oh, I'm sorry, but Danielle, have you ever heard
I'm
podcasts
sorry.
about I'm sorry, but?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
Are you a sorry?
I'm
but?
sorry, and it wasn't intentional.
Okay, another NGW reference. Excellent. Yet it.
Okay.
Yet it.
yeah.
Wow, that was chaotic. But it is a very true representation of who we are as friends. And
It's kind of embarrassing.
even though we just had that very unfortunate happening, I am very, very grateful to you guys for coming on to the pod, being my season 1 finale.
Woo!
Thank you. We got one little.
I wasn't sure if I should be quiet.
I will clap for myself.
Anyways,
Just 30 seconds.
I am so grateful for my friends, and I couldn't have Friendeavor without the friendship that I have with them, because you can't teach people about whatever, any topic, without having some experience in it yourself. So the reason I feel comfortable teaching about friendship is because I have amazing friends. So thank you guys for being on the podcast. Season 2 will be rolling out here in September.
We should be your finale every season.
Whoa.
Let the people vote. Carla, you should be on it with us.
And Chloe!
And Chloe.
Yeah, NJW.
I agree.
Season
as long
finale.
as you reply to my text when I ask you to be on it.
Don't add any comments.
Be on the lookout for some special summer pop-ups here and there on the podcast, because we will try to sprinkle in some stuff, because we don't just want to leave you hanging until September. But Kayla and I are so grateful that you have come with us this far. Don't forget to check out our Instagram, Friendeavor, our YouTube channel, Friendeavor, and we'll be trying to drop out some more products on our website, so keep an eye on that. Thank you so much. Have an amazing summer, and we will see you in September.
And I know it was the Lord.
It was the Lord. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Friendeavor the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you enjoyed today's content, leave a review and share with a friend. You can find the show notes on our website, www.friendeavor.net, and in the description of this episode.
Friendship is a journey. It's an endeavor. We'll see you next time on Friendeavor.